Hello everyone. I want to make this little video just because you might have seen there's a video of me talking in French and doing a whole story in French which you might not understand, as I have quite a lot of friends who only speak Dutch or English. So I want to just briefly explain what has happened to us here in France in the Vendée. Last Thursday, I was woken up because there was a big siren in front of the house, and Nigel was doing the animals, and then later he came back and he said there's some gendarmes in front of our gate and they want to give us a letter. So obviously we came out. I was still in my baignoire, in my morning gown, and that's how I actually went to through the front door to the gate. And there they told us they were going to do a big hunting party on our property that morning. I went back into the house, I got dressed, and I've been going from the road inside our property under the protection from the gendarme. The gendarme, it was not very clear what I could do and what I couldn't do. That was told to me later on. But I went into our property, and I obviously went past the killed boar that is still lying there. The bones and the skin are still there, and I started screaming out of fear, out of agony, because of this dead animal already on our property, and out of frustration that a group of hunters with their dogs and with big lances came into our property to push into any corner that they could find to see whether there were any boar in our property. Afterwards, we have been following the same group, and we actually discovered that there were a couple of flaws into the position of the hunters. They were actually almost ready to, if an animal would have been found with this, probably it's a very important detail, and it's a big detail. There was no animal in our property. But anyway, the second position, the second area where they continued the hunt, they were actually prepared to shoot in our direction. We were all standing on the road, so we had to point out to the authorities, because the authorities of the prefecture were there, the gendarme was there, and the hunters were there. And we had to explain to them that what they were doing was an infraction with the security rules of hunting. The same happened actually at the third position, the third area, where they also were prepared to shoot in the direction of the road. Both times we intervened, or we said, you have to do something about it. So the police of the environment actually went to the hunters and moved their position. It's all technical. I won't go into details about that. But anyway, this of course has an enormous impact on us, especially on me, as I see this intervention into my own property, where I live in a harmonious way without harming any animal that comes on our property. And we are vegan, so we don't want to contribute to the killing of animals. I see that as an intrusion. I see that as rape. And I have been explaining that in my previous video in French. I see this as rape. It's a violation of my being, my spirit, of me. Not physically, but emotionally. Okay, I think it's important that foreigners need to know that this is completely allowed in France. This is it's allowed. Point final. So if you live here, there's a possibility that you get such measures as well, especially if you say you don't want hunting on your property. I was very much in distress. I have had since then a skin reaction, a rash, for which I had to go to the hospital on Sunday where they have given me a treatment. Well, obviously, the days go past, so I'm recuperating a little bit from what has happened. The most important thing is for us to know, as I said, that this is completely legal, and this can happen to anyone. I see some people, that's why I'm distracted. I see some people coming past. This is another issue. When you are violated in your own space, in your own property, you have a feeling of insecurity, and this feeling of insecurity is constant. Every day I look who is coming into my property without my permission, because this is what has happened. And it's a very unpleasant feeling and a very unpleasant thought. There where you live, you're supposed to feel safe and secure, and people cannot harm you, and that's not the case with me anymore. I don't feel secure, I don't feel safe, and the problem is that the authorities don't do anything about it, and as a matter of fact, they made it even worse. Right, okay, well, we are going to fight this decision. For the rest, I'm not going to go into details. There have been some articles in magazines. We have made a counter article with some elements that were not in the official articles made by or sent out by the prefecture. Of course, there's a press release and that sort of stuff. So, so there were some things that they didn't mention, which we corrected. And now we are fenced in with an electric fence around our property. Not all our property, but a couple of boundaries, 3 boundaries. There's an electric fence to avoid animals to be able to come in. Well, that's the idea anyway. Right, okay, well, that's the news, that's the commotion, that's what my video was about. I'll keep you posted, I'll keep you informed. Bye.